this video, I'll be introducing week 10 of the course and our participation activity for the week. In week 10, we're going to be taking a look at the structured query language and reports in Microsoft Access. This will be a more tutorial-heavy week, which means that we're not going to have any lecture videos. Instead, we're only going to have tutorial videos this week. Before we get into the content for this week, there are a few announcements. Our first announcement is that course evaluations are now open. You can complete your course evaluation by going to feedback.uwo.ca and filling out the survey. Sharing your opinions and feedback about the course helps us improve the course and guides the department in what courses to keep offering. So if you like CS1032 and you want to keep seeing it offered by the department for other students, make sure you fill out that survey. So as an example of how this type of feedback helps, only a few years ago, this online section of this course did not have any videos, and students would simply learn by doing the readings. Based on the feedback we've received from students, we've put a significant amount of work into improving this course and creating videos that make the content more accessible and hopefully more engaging than simply reading the textbook. I would love to hear what you liked about the course, the videos, and anything else that you think we could improve. Any constructive feedback, both positive or negative, is welcome, and the survey is completely anonymous, and I only see the results after grades have been finalized. To provide more incentive to fill out that survey, Western is offering a chance to win a $250 gift card to the Western bookstore. For details and terms on that contest, please see yourfeedback.uwo.ca. So as recommended by the university, I'm going to give you a little bit of time to head to feedback.uwo.ca and fill out that course evaluation. Remember that completing the survey helps everyone earn those extra bonus participation points, and it enters you into that draw for the $250 bookstore gift card, so there's really no reason not to do it. While you go fill out that survey, I'm going to put up a video from feedback.uwo.ca that explains how this feedback is used and how other faculty members have used it to improve their courses. So go fill out that course feedback and come back and continue on with this video, and we'll talk about a few more announcements, the participation activity, and some of the content for this week.
Questionnaires are very important because they really are an important signal of how we're doing in our teaching and learning mission at Western. They're important for instructors because they give that feedback. They help instructors get a sense of what's working and what's not. And they're important for students because students can now say very directly, this is what helps me in my learning experience.
I'm Mike Atkinson. I'm a professor in the Department of Psychology. I'm also a teaching fellow at the Teaching Support Center. My specialty is large classes, and my class currently is 800 students. Maybe they're not too enthusiastic about the process, maybe they're even cynical. First thing I want to know is why are you cynical? Do you think that these are not a valid measure of, say, student learning? Do you think that this is not a valid representation of what you do in class? And then I would discuss the research with them that shows that, in fact, these are valid measures of those things.
My name is Felix Lee. I teach chemistry at Western. I've been here for just over 12 years now. I was skeptical at first. At first, I thought that maybe 10 to 15% of students would answer the questionnaires, but it turned out that 65% of the students answered them. And what was best was that because students were typing the answers out as opposed to writing them out in pen or pencil, the average length of each answer was much, much longer.
I've used the feedback from the questionnaires in many ways over my 35 years of teaching, 26 of them at the university level. It has informed me in terms of how I deliver the content, whether I engage the students in ways that I thought I did. It also has informed me how clear my explanations are, how organized I think I am as opposed to the perceptions of the students. So that also points to the differentiation of students' learning and ability to take in information and make sense of it. So it's made me even more aware of how different each student is in their learning and how they actually acquire and understand the information.
The best feedback I've received probably has to do with how quickly I present the material. It's helped me slow down, it's helped me realize that there are many different learning styles out there, and that in class we do have to target many different learning styles.
My name is Nicole Campbell, and I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Physiology and Pharmacology, and I teach the upper year interdisciplinary medical science students. The one thing I would tell my students about the questionnaires that they maybe wouldn't realize is that myself, having received feedback for so many years, I would want them to know that I actually still get nervous to read that feedback. And the reason I'd want them to know that is because that means it means something to me. So you would think that maybe as you progress in your career, you would be less nervous, but it's kind of the opposite. And I think the reason for that is that we are invested and we care, and we want to make sure that we're doing our job well.
Many students think that the results of these questionnaires are going into a black box, that they're never used again, and that it's just a time-consuming process. We, on the other hand, use these results to assess teaching performance. We assess how students are finding a course. Do they find a course appropriate? Do they find a course interesting? Do they find a course totally useless for the program? So we take these data seriously.
So on to the content for this week. This week we have a few items for you to review. First is the SQL tutorial slides that can be found on the OWL Week 10 page. I recommend starting by reading these over. Next is the SQL tutorial video that will cover both writing SQL queries and using the query design tool in Microsoft Access. I recommend following along with this tutorial by using the copy of the Access database that can be found on the week page 10 on OWL. The last tutorial for the week is going to be one on reports in Microsoft Access. This tutorial will take you through how to both use these reports as well as create new reports for your database in Microsoft Access. Lastly, as with most weeks, we have some assigned MyLab homework. They'll give you more practice with Microsoft Access and queries. While this is ungraded and optional, I highly recommend giving it a try, and if you have any questions or run into any problems, you can post your questions to the course forums. Remember, you also get participation points for posting to the course forums. So the last thing we need to discuss is the participation activity for this week. This week's activity is to create 4 multiple choice questions that you think would be appropriate for the final exam and post them to the Week 10 Practice Exam Questions form topic. You can find that in the Forums tab on OWL. This will accomplish a few things. First, it will help you get ready for the final exam by thinking critically about the course content we've covered so far. And secondly, it will help us create a large bank of questions to help your fellow students study for the final exam. There are a few rules to consider when writing your questions. Each multiple choice question should have at least 5 possible options, with only 1 being correct. These questions should be in your own words and not copied from an existing source. They must be questions of your own creation. The difficulty of the questions should be similar to what you expect to find on the final exam. We want these questions to be at least somewhat challenging, so they'll be useful for studying purposes for yourself and for other students. And finally, you must include the correct answer for each question you write. Keep in mind that you must make a post in the forums topic before you can see other students' posts, so make sure that you post as soon as possible so you can get access to this bank of questions created by your fellow students. That's all I have for you in this video. Make sure you get started by reading over the SQL slides and then watching the tutorial videos. If you have any questions, feel free to post on the course forums or send me an email. Thank you for watching and have a great day.